Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Ayu Rohmaniar dengan nomor induk mahasiswa 1107619095 akan mempresentasikan mengenai introduction dan literature review yang telah saya buat. Judul yang saya miliki yaitu Development of Android-based educational games to increase the interest in learning mathematics of elementary school students. Introduction. Technology, information, and communication are developing very rapidly in all sectors of social life. The education sector is no exception. This development makes the learning process a fun activity when using learning media related to technology. It can be said be fun because students who are the alpha generation are familiar with the use of technology. Advance in technology, information, and communication have led to software development. This can be used as motivation by teachers in developing appropriate strategy in their learning activity. As is currently popular, the use of games as a medium in accelerating the absorption of material by students, especially in learning that is less attractive to most students, namely mathematics. Several previous studies state the progress of country depends on the advancement of technology and their knowledge, which depends on an effective mathematics education system. One promising method of teacher to achieve active student participation in learning mathematics is game-based learning. This proves that linking something that students are most interested in the mathematics learning process is a very appropriate strategy to do in increasing students' interest in learning mathematics. Among the things that students are most interested in are using mobile phones and playing games. The development of interactive learning media makes games an effective learning medium of students. Educational games are games in which there are elements of education and learning. The content in the game is in the form of teaching material of evaluation questions that are packaged in such a way that it attracts the attention of students in studying mathematics learning material. The use of Android-based educational game on smartphone device can make it easier for students to access them. Students today are no stranger to use of mobile phones and games. Cell phones owned by students can have a positive impact on academic field if used properly. One of them is to make cell phones a tool in understanding mathematics lesson. Likewise with the games that are in it, apart from being entertaining material, games at this time can also be used as a medium in accelerating that absorption of material. Especially the material in mathematics is quite complicated to be solved by students. Problem-solving skills are closely related to knowledge of mathematics. In learning mathematics, it is related to the science of logic regarding the agreement, shape, concepts, and quantity that are interrelated. So, with the mathematical abilities posed by each others, it can make it easier to solve problems in everyday life compared to other individuals who don't really have these abilities. As Experience is also an important factor in influencing mathematical problem-solving ability. It takes habituation or repetition to help develop this ability. Therefore, learning mathematics needs to be prepared as well as early as possible in order to form the character of students who are critical, independent, creative, and able to work together. It is hoped that this good character can encourage superior human research. Mathematics lesson, especially at the elementary school level, tend to use numbers more in the learning process. Accuracy is needed with clear and rational thoughts through interpretation as a result of cognitive construction in working on mathematical problem, because if one is wrong in the problem solving process, the result will be less precious. When students' interest in mathematics has decreased, it is even feared that it will no longer exist. It will affect learning outcomes. Moreover, there are many other things from mathematics that can be used as reasons by students not to like this lesson. Mathematics is not fun for students because the subject is difficult to learn in interesting situation. Mathematics is very important for students to master. It is necessary to give extra understanding by the teacher from the earliest possible level to avoid students' disinterest in mathematics. The final result is not the only thing that is most important in solving problems. It is the student's thinking process that is of added value in this learning. In addition to being given an understanding, the media in learning also needs to be made in such a way that it attracts student to study it. Given the importance of mathematics, it must be started by increasing student interest first. Through this, it is hoped that other aspects can also be improved. The impact of the development of sophisticated technology and the demand for online learning requires students and teachers to master technology that support learning system. In previous study, educational games were focused on improving learning outcomes. The resulting game is not yet based on Android. It can be seen that interest in learning is the most important thing in learning process. The absorption of material would be more effective if student interest in learning is high and will be directly proportional to student motivation and learning outcomes. The main question is this research is will elementary school student interest in learning mathematics increase with the development of Android-based educational games? This research is also attempt to answer the following problems: A. How to develop Android-based educational games. B. Is there an effect of Android-based educational games on elementary school students' mathematics learning outcome? This study aims to make the development of educational games able to be a solution in increasing student interest in learning mathematics at the initial level, namely the elementary school level. It is hoped that the high interest in student learning will have a positive effect on motivation, learning outcomes, and so on. 1. Android-based educational games. Advance in technology, information, and communication have had a major impact on various orders of social life. In many development countries, many have prepared for the development and utilization that demand a link between advance in technology, information, and communication with human research. It can be a big challenge to make the best use of ICT advance. No exception to educators of dedicate themselves to advance to the quality of education in their country. The development and utilization of the field of technology, information, and communication in the world of education can occur in various sectors. ICT also plays an important role in facilitating student in its application has a major impact that can improve the quality of learning. Moreover, education is this century requires transformation in terms of infrastructure, knowledge, and teaching strategy. Therefore, teachers must prepare themselves in face of change that occur, especially in mastery in field of ICT. In previous development, it has been found that involving educational game in learning is a very practical and useful thing. The studies show a positive response to the enthusiasm, interest, and motivation of students in learning mathematics. This is in line with the initial goal of developing educational games, which is to increase student interest in learning mathematics. Because if initially interest, subsequent things such as learning outcomes will also increase. Educational games can also improve students' thinking when combined with problem-based learning and can improve student skill and performance. Not only that, the game is said to be successful in the world of educational if the game can integrate the subject matter into its components and utilize the function of the left brain. Based on the results of previous studies that have been described, there are many benefits and advantage of educational games when combined in learning. 2. Interest in learning mathematics of elementary school students. Interest in learning is the most important factor in learning condition. Without a high interest in learning, it will affect other things, such as decreased learning outcomes. Interest is also the strength of person motivation to be willing to do something. It is conceivable that if students are not interested in learning, there will be no motivation that moves them to start a lesson. Moreover, the complicated subject is mathematics. One of the biggest challenge for mathematics teacher is when their students say mathematics is the most difficult subject. Many students think that mathematics is a boring subject. This is a big challenge for teachers to break the stigma that has already spread among students. Mathematics is one of the subjects that some students are less interested in. One of the contributing factors is in the students' own thinking. Students are already anxious in learning it because from the beginning they took that mathematics was a difficult and unpleasant subject. Mathematics anxiety is a pessimistic emotional attitude towards mathematics that has a negative impact on learning mathematics. This can even affect other learning because, as we all know, that mathematics is a basis of science. Generally, students face MA since elementary school, which gradually increases to middle level to high level. This lesson is difficult to understand for elementary school level because it is boring, too formal, theoretical, and the learning is book-based. It is conceivable that if students have been anxious about mathematics since elementary educational, it will have a bad impact in the future and also affect other learning. Another thing that can be used as a reason why mathematics is a difficult and unpleasant subject for students is because teachers have not mastered various fun learning media. One of cognitive tools or learning media that can minimize MA is to make students interest in learning mathematics. In line with the existing problems, this research will develop an Android-based educational games to increase interest in learning mathematics. Will develop an Android-based educational game to increase interest in learning mathematics for elementary school students. It is hoped that the development of educational games and the result of this research can be a solution in dealing with existing problems, especially in the low interest in learning mathematics. Sekian dari saya, kurang dan lebihnya mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.